starting over at 30 as a guy being still in his 30s, it kind of scared me. You know, like I never thought I would be able to do so after, you know, being engaged and being in a relationship for 5 years, and then being in a depression for 3 years, and then eventually turning 30, now being almost 35 within a couple of days. You know, like I would never have seen myself put myself out there again. It really scared me. The idea scared me, and it made me hesitant. It stripped me away from my healthy confidence. It did me wrong in many ways. And I remember the moment I put myself out there, and it was online, and it was through YouTube, actually. YouTube dating that doesn't exist. And it was an e-girl, a fellow content creator. And yeah, that's the first time I put myself out there again, in the sense of being in an IRL relationship. And did I regret that relationship? Yes. Did I fear putting myself out there? Yes. Why did I eventually do it? Well, that's what the video is going to be about. My internal harbor fear that was justified or unjustified had to do with, you know, how I perceived the world after the big vid. Like everything changed. I think everybody can agree with me on this one. Everything changed. Everything was different. People were different. Expectations and perceptions were different. And I didn't feel like I belonged in this world anymore because of that change. And for some people it's positive, for some people it's negative. That's up to whomever is watching. But for me, it wasn't positive at all. So yeah, I felt like the hardest part was starting over, being 30 back then, and still is. It's like you gotta find yourself again, you redefine yourself, find your identity again, reestablish yourself, improve everything about yourself if you want to stand a chance. Like every time a decade passes by, every time you hit a different age category, it doesn't become better unless you have an unlimited amount of money, or you have a high social status and people perceive you on a higher level, or you did something that changed the world. Like if you haven't, or you have, of course, like a perfect looks, you know, then it's gonna be rather difficult for you to break through. And if you're younger, everything seems possible, you know. Everything seems to be possible when you're younger, you know, like when you're a teenager, you have all the time of the world. When you're in your early 20s, you know, you've got all the opportunities at hand and rejection doesn't matter. But once you reach the end of your 20s, and especially for women, it's even more of a challenge than for men, and you haven't established, or you failed at establishing yourself on all those levels that matter in this life, in this world, then you're gonna be at the point you're gonna be left out. You're gonna feel like you're left out. You're gonna feel like you're being replaced. And that's what I felt like. What do I have to offer? What can I offer? What makes me relevant or attractive enough to be in a relationship with? And yeah, you know, I had my insecurities. I had to go through my depression. I had to deal with a lot of things, some mental health issues. And at some point, because of the last relationship I was in with my ex that lasted, I don't remember, 6 months to a year, something like that. You know, we were together, we were engaged, and everything was set, but not because I wanted to, but it's because the person just wanted something from me. They wanted to experience things, and they forced me to get that experience out of me because I was a provider, right? And that put me down so much that I completely lost it, lost myself, made it actually even worse, because that was the first time I was back in a real committed relationship, just with the wrong person. Because the person was toxic, unhealthy, a narcissist, dangerous, crazy. And what I did, instead of actually falling back in an old habit and a bad habit and isolating myself, letting depression take over, I decided to put myself out there even more, grind hard, or go home, date as much women as I can, get as much experience out of it as I can. You know, level up on all levels, physically, mentally, spiritually, socially, financially. Like I tried all the things in a healthy way, pushing my boundaries, setting my boundaries, being the better man, being the better version of myself, and presenting it every single time. That helped me overcome a bad past habit that would put me down and would have made it even worse if I ever wanted to have a chance at a relationship or love. Because it's easy to slip in a negative mindset, and that will take over and consume you, and it's not going to help you, and time is going to fly by. You know, no time doesn't wait on no one. So I started just to do all those things instead, and it really helped. And fast forward a year after that relationship, and I'm now in a healthy, happy, satisfying, fulfilling relationship. We've been together for plus 1 month now. My birthday is coming, and we're gonna celebrate it together, and the future is ours to take. The future looks bright. Everything is healthy, organic, natural. Nothing is forced. There are no high expectations. There are no demands. There are no hidden agendas, you know, or hidden red flags. And it was all worth it. Yeah, you know, I had to start out with being in my head, fearful, not wanting to do so, not having the courage, not feeling confident enough to take those steps and start over when I turned 30, because I thought I would have been married, I would have had children, I would have lived together. You know, I thought I would have been at that point in life, but I didn't, because it failed, and I didn't feel it within me to start over, because that idea scared me, because I thought nobody wanted me, nobody would like me, nobody would love me, I'm not attractive enough, you know, everything is fading. I'm losing my hair, I'm losing my my looks, I'm losing everything, you know what I mean? And that kind of kept me from taking that step of giving another shot, giving myself another shot, like allowing myself to experience these things again. And once I made that step, and even if I experienced negative stuff first, I did eventually end up with the positive, and the most positive that is out there. So I'll be eternally grateful for all the negative nonsense that came my way. But at the same time, if you don't pay the price, if you don't make a sacrifice, you will never actually be allowed to experience total bliss, peace, and harmony. It all has to do with an internal struggle you have to overcome. There are things you have to deal with, there are challenges you have to engage, you know, you have to go and be victorious. If you just put everything aside and you just ignore it and you just don't want to do with anything because it just scares you, or you think you can't, you feel you can't do it alone, then you will never get at that point of being successful. And that thing keeping you back is in your mind, it's in your head. And if you want that to take over your life, then greatness will never be a part of your life.